This is not a simple red light case where somebody ran a red light and you don't really need a lot to know who's at fault.
That was attorney Robert Clifford, who is now representing 7 families who lost loved ones in the fatal crash of American Airlines Flight 5342.
So the mid-air collision over the Potomac River claimed the lives of 67 people on that plane and the Black Hawk helicopter also involved.
A Senate committee is scheduled later this week to hear testimony from the heads of the FAA and the NTSB about that crash.
And ahead of that hearing, our digital investigative reporter Jordan Fisher is here to provide us with the latest on the efforts by the Flight 5342 families to get some justice.
And Jordan, we're now nearly 2 months out from the crash. The families say they're ready to seek justice. Can you give us an idea? What's the holdup here?
Yeah, Simone, the holdup is the Federal Tort Claims Act, or the FTCA, which is a mouthful, but it's a federal law that allows you to, but also creates very strict boundaries on how you can sue the federal government for injuries. In this case, the reason they can't sue right away is that it imposes a 6-month investigation period where the agencies involved, in this case the FAA and the Army, get to look at your claims, investigate them, see if there's merit, and then decide whether they want to offer you a settlement, deny your claim altogether, and move forward. And of course, we should stress right now, there is no fault found yet. The NTSB has raised some concerns about things. We know, of course, that the Black Hawk helicopter is flying too high, but we don't know where that report will come down. Now, I spoke to Mike Nakamura. He's at Shulman Rogers, a Potomac-based law firm that specializes in exactly these kinds of FTCA lawsuits. He told me they warn potential clients to get ready for a long fight when they take on these cases.
I've been doing this for close to 34 years, and I think I've had very few settlements. You can count them on one hand. What we tell our clients is prepare for the long haul. We prepare that we're going to, now that we're going to be trying this case in several years, and we don't take anything for granted.
Yeah, so we heard you talking with Robert Clifford in that first clip there, who's representing a number of the families now. Did you get a sense of what they're hoping to learn from this Senate hearing later this week? What are they listening for?
Right. Well, like I said, Leslie, obviously they're still very interested in potential communication mishaps between the tower and the helicopter, and specifically the altimeter that was on that Black Hawk, whether that had anything to do with why they were flying so high. But what I heard from Robert Clifford is that the NTSB's preliminary report earlier this month has really started to raise questions about all these near misses that we've learned about, the thousands and thousands of near misses over the last, several years, and why no action was taken about that, and if potentially the airlines in this case could have liability for not raising a flag sooner, for not stepping up and saying, we're not going to fly routes into DCA if you don't take some action on this. And of course, now the FAA has canceled those helicopter routes. They've rerouted some of them. So I'm sure on Thursday what they're going to be looking to hear is, why wasn't any action taken sooner? How much of this was known? Was there a decision explicitly not to take any action for reasons that we don't know about yet? And that's going to really factor into any potential lawsuits, not just against the government, but the airline.
Jordan just mentioned something that we hadn't heard before, which is that the airlines had a responsibility to raise the red flag as well. Do we know whether they have or haven't about those near misses?
Yeah, we don't know that right now.
Okay.
I mean, what Bob Clifford told me was that, we're not allowed to run red lights. He said airlines aren't allowed to run yellow lights. Basically, they have a higher duty of care for their passengers. And again, no lawsuits have been filed. These would be under different sets of laws. It would not be FTCA cases. These would be filed in state courts. So we're potentially a long way away from that, but it's something they're very focused on right now.
What's really tough and interesting is that you're kind of highlighting we're at the accountability phase, right, of all of this, but it's wrapped in grief, and it's wrapped in these families who are just trying to grapple with, they have lost their loved ones, and to your point, this legal road ahead of them, it's long and it's complicated, and you're going to help us kind of go through that piece by piece. Jordan Fisher for us tonight. Thank you so much.